Bonjour. Alors aujourd'hui, nous allons discuter le pronom I et ça se trouve dans votre livre à la page 282. D'accord? All right, so we're talking about the pronoun I today, and there are going to be 4 things that you want to be sure that you know when this video is over. What does it mean? What does I mean? What does I replace in a sentence? How to use I in a sentence, meaning where does it go in a sentence? And then finally some expressions with I. So I is a pronoun, and I'm saying I because that's how it's pronounced. It's the letter Y, which we call Y in French, but as a word, it's pronounced I. D'accord? Okay, so back in the last chapter, we had pronouns, you might remember, and we had me, te, nous, vous, le, la, les. Remember that? Well, we're going to have a new pronoun today called I, and it's going to be used primarily to talk about places, where people are. Okay, so let's start with number 1. What does it mean? I is going to generally translate to the word there. Not always, but for the most part, it's going to translate to the word there. It shows place, it shows location. Let me show you some examples. For example, if I had the question, Tu vas au stade? Are you going to the stadium? Now, I could answer that by saying, Oui, je vais au stade. Yes, I'm going to the stadium. And that would be a fine sentence. But we can also shorten our answer by saying, yes, I'm going there. So how do I say there in French? Well, that's I. So I'm going to take out the there in the sentence, which is au stade, and I'm going to replace it with the pronoun I. And then where in the sentence does it go? And you should remember a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about pronouns, the pronoun always goes before something, okay? And what it's going to go, in this sentence, it's going to go before the conjugated verb, so it's going to go right here. Oui, j'y vais. So are you going to the stadium? Yes, I'm going there. So the nice thing about pronouns is that they take the place of a noun, usually, or in this case of a prepositional phrase, but they make our answers nice and short. Okay, instead of having to repeat everything in the original sentence, we can shorten it by using the pronoun. And that's kind of the nice things about pronoun. It makes your speech more natural. Okay, un autre exemple. Mes copains vont souvent chez moi. My friends go often to my house. They come up to my house often. Okay, so where do they come? What's the there in the sentence? Well, it's chez moi. So I'm going to replace that with I. And then where does I go? It goes before the verb. Ils y vont souvent. Now this wasn't a question answer. This was just a way to shorten the original sentence. Mes copains vont souvent chez moi. That's a fine sentence. But I can shorten it to ils y vont souvent. Okay? So, I generally means there. Okay? Numéro 2. What does it replace? A pronoun in English or in French, the beauty of a pronoun is that it replaces something. And I say beauty because it always shortens our sentence. Instead of having to say, the girl went to the party, the girl talked to a lot of people, the girl ate some potato chips, I can say she ate some potato chips. It shortens what we want to say. So she is an example of a pronoun. So number 2, what does it replace? So I is going to replace a preposition, a préposition, plus, and I've run out of room, a place, or a noun, but generally it's going to be a place. Okay? So let me give you some examples. I is going to equal prepositions. So what are some prepositions? Well, a is a preposition, as in à la plage, at the beach. So here's my preposition and there's my place, right? Any form of a. Remember when a and le come together, it becomes au. So au cinéma. So there's my preposition and there's my place. Perhaps chez. Now, chez is a little bit different. Chez is a preposition, and moi isn't a place, it's a pronoun, but it means a place. Chez moi means at my house, so that's a place. Alors, un autre exemple, sur, c'est une préposition, sur la table. So where did you put the keys? I put the keys on the table. I put them there. So y was going to replace all of that, sur la table. So a preposition, à, au, chez, sur, dans, sous, under. Remember, dans means in. And then we have the word en, which also means in. So these are examples. They're not the complete list of pronouns, but these are examples of pronouns. And when they're used with any noun, dans le livre, for example, sous, I don't need the plus sign, sous la voiture, under the car, any noun, okay, you're going to replace it with e. Okay, so what does it mean? It means there. What does it replace? It's going to replace a preposition plus the place. Now, it's really important that you understand that e or any pronoun replaces something, because when you use it in the sentence, whatever was there, whatever it replaces, has to come out of the sentence. You don't use e with this, you replace it. It's got to come out of the sentence, au stade. Because you wouldn't want to say, are you going to the stadium? Yes, I'm going there to the stadium, right? You want to get rid of au stade. E kicks au stade out of the sentence entirely. Okay, so it's important that you understand that it replaces. You might want to highlight that word or circle it or star it or something like that. Okay, number 3, how to use it in a sentence. Well, that refers to position. And I don't know if you remember this, but a few weeks ago when we studied the other pronouns, we talked a lot about la position. La position. La position, the position or the placement of the pronoun. Okay, when we're talking about pronouns, there are 4 kinds of sentences that can exist. Number 1, the first kind of sentence is just a regular sentence. Subject, verb, the kind that we use every day, a regular sentence. When you have a regular sentence, e, so we're talking about the position of e is going to be placed before, and this is the key word, before the verb. Avant le verbe. So I could have, for example, nous y allons. We are going there. Are you going to the movies this weekend? Oh yeah, we're going there that Saturday night. Okay? So here's the verb. It goes before the verb. Okay, in a negative sentence, it's the same thing. So I could have nous ne allons pas. Are you going to the movies this weekend? No, we're not going there. We're going out of town. Non, nous n'y allons pas. So it doesn't matter if the sentence is affirmative or negative, e goes right before the conjugated verb. Okay, in a regular sentence. Okay, numéro 2. Passé composé. Some sentences are in the passé composé. All right, so I want to say, or before I give the example, let me tell you where it goes. It's also going to go before. So before is our key word, before the verb. But look at the sentence. Je suis allé. Allé, ce n'est pas facile. Je suis allé au stade. I went to the stadium. Now, if I were to say that the pronoun e goes before the verb, that would be fine. But you'll look at the sentence and you'll say, wait a second, there are 2 verbs. Suis is a verb and aller is a verb. So which verb does it get to go before? So the answer is it's going to go before the helping verb. The helping verb. And what do I mean by the helping verb? In French, we call that le verbe auxiliaire. I spelled it half in French, half in English. And in a passé composé sentence, that will either be avoir or être. So here is the helping verb. So the e will go right there. J'y suis allé au stade. Now notice I got rid of the e because e is like a vowel. You don't hear the it's a vowel sound, so it's j'y suis allé au stade. J'y suis. Okay? So before the verb, when there's only one verb. Before the helping verb, when there's the passé composé. Okay? So that's two of the sentences. Let's look at a third kind of sentence. Okay, numéro 3, infinitif. Infinitif. Okay, so if I were to say, we want, nous voulons aller à la plage. We want to go to the beach. Okay? So if I were to say, hey, do you want to go to the beach with us? You say, yeah, we want to go there. So we need to find out where are prepositional phrases that can be replaced with E. So here's à la plage. So that comes out and it's replaced with E. Okay, so let me try to take that out. So now I'm going to write my new sentence. Nous voulons aller. All right, now the question is, where does E go? And we said in our other two that it goes before the verb, before the helping verb. So yes, it's going to go before. It goes before. But which verb? Voulons and aller, both of those are verbs. So which one does it go before? Well, this time it's not going to go before the first verb. It's going to go before the infinitif. Before the infinitive. Where's the infinitive? Right here. Okay, so how that will sound will be like this, or what it will look like will be like this. Nous voulons y aller. We want to go there. Nous voulons y aller. D'accord? Okay, so you should be seeing a pattern before something, either before the verb, before the helping verb, or before the infinitive. Okay? Okay, numéro 4. And I'm going to have to erase this to make room for numéro 4. Okay, our fourth and last kind of sentence is a sentence à l'impératif. À l'impératif. Now, if you're paying attention in class, you know what impératif is. It is a command. When you tell somebody to do something. In class, we were saying sentences like, don't watch too much TV and drink water and things like that. So a command. All right, let's suppose I wanted to tell somebody to go to the gym. We're talking about staying in shape, and so I say, you should go to the gym. Go to the gym. Okay, that's a regular sentence, and let's practice what we did in class. We learned how to make it a command. Remember, you take off the subject. You conjugate the verb. That was step number 1. You get rid of the subject. Step number 2. If it's an ER verb with tu, you drop off the S, but it's not with tu, so we just end right there. Okay, vous allez au gymnase. So now we have au gymnase. And where is that going to go? Replace it with E. And instead of it going before the verb, like we're used to, this time, for the first time, we're going to use the word after. Après. Après. After the verb. Après le verbe. So to say to somebody, go, you're going to say allez-y. Allez-y. And it goes after the verb. Okay? Let's do another example. Nous, you can't use nous, right? Well, we could, but vous is more common. So vous nagez dans la piscine. Okay, now if I were to take dans la piscine out, I'll replace it with E. So now my sentence is vous y nagez. Now I want to make it a command. So I've already conjugated the verb, that's step 1. Step 2, I get rid of my subject. And now, step 3 is if it's an ER verb in the tu form, but it's not the tu form. So now what do I do? Well, that E can't be there because the E has to go after the verb. So it's going to kind of take a little walk and go after the verb. Nagez-y. D'accord? And notice that when you have the command, you have to connect the E and the verb with a little hyphen, trait d'union. Okay? So, à l'impératif, après le verbe. Okay, so that's the first part of the imperative. Now we have to do the second kind of imperative. We just did an affirmative command. Affirmatif. My battery's running low. Voilà. We just did an affirmative command, and we just said that then the pronoun goes après le verbe. In a negative command, it's going to go back where it belongs. And where does it belong? It goes avant le verbe. Remember what avant means, or devant? Before. So before the verb. So if I were to say, don't swim in the ocean, dans l'océan is E. And where does it go? It goes before the verb. When it's a negative command, it goes before the verb. So, n'y nagez pas. Okay? So, it's kind of tricky, all of these different placements for the pronoun, but you need to be familiar with all four kinds of sentences. The regular sentence, it goes before the verb. Tu y entres, before the verb. In a passé composé sentence, it goes before the helping verb. Tu y es entré. With an infinitive, it goes before the infinitive. Tu vas y entrer. In a command that's affirmative, we're going to say that it goes after the verb, entrer. I think there would be an S that comes back there. And then in a negative command, n'y entre pas. So those are the four different kinds of sentences. And in the imperative, you've got the affirmative, where it goes after, and the negative, it goes before. Okay? So this one is the exception. You might want to really highlight, star that this is the only time the pronoun comes after the verb. D'accord? Okay, so E, it means there. It replaces a preposition plus a noun, and we now know how to use it in a sentence, where it goes in the sentence. Okay, and then finally, expressions. And this is in your book. They have some expressions at the bottom of page 282 with a little arrow. And they tell us that some common expressions with E, because E is used a lot in French. You're going to see it a lot in writing, and you'll hear it. So it's good to know these expressions. So vas-y means go. Vas-y, vas-y, go. Like if you're cheering somebody on. Go ahead. You could use allez-y. That would be the plural form. Go. Like go team go. Allez-y. You also have allons-y, which means let's go. So you're waiting for somebody and then they arrive, you say allons-y, let's go. Okay, so you should notice that these are the command forms, right? This is the tu, this is the vous, this is the nous. And then finally another expression is on y va. And you hear this a lot in French. On y va, and that can either be a question or a statement actually. And it means, like it says in the book, should we go? Are we going? Are we ready to go? On y va? Shall we go? And then you can answer it with, oui, on y va, let's go. Okay, so this is from the book on page 282. Okay, and then finally, just some final things to kind of wrap up with what they have in the book. It tells us, and this is really important, in the fourth arrow, the fourth arrow, it says that E can be used to replace a plus a noun, which we said earlier. We said that it can be used to replace a preposition plus a place or a noun. And let me give an example where it doesn't mean a place. For example, je réponds à la question. I answer the question. Now in French, when you answer a question, you have to answer to a question. It's just that way. So now I want to say I answer it. Well, how am I going to say it? I'm going to look at the à, and I see that I have a noun, so that's going to be replaced with I. So I answer it, j'y réponds. So in that case, I doesn't mean there, it means it. Another example is, we're talking about sports in this chapter. Je joue au foot. I play soccer. Somebody says, tu joues au foot? Do you play soccer? Yeah, I play. I play it. So, je joue au foot. So I want to replace au foot with a pronoun. There's my à, my preposition. There's a noun. So I take it out and replace it with I. So I would say j'y joue. So we said that I means there, but that doesn't make sense. In the answer to soccer, it would mean I play it. So I doesn't always mean there. It can mean something else like it, but generally it means there. Okay, and then finally, another little thing to note is that I must be used in French, even if in English we don't translate it. Must be used in French to when you take out that place, even if in English we don't translate the word. And let me show you what I mean, because I know that doesn't make sense the way it is said there. We don't translate it. For example, oftentimes in English we'll say something like, hey, are you going to the party? And you say, yeah, I'm going. We don't say I'm going there, or at least we don't have to. Okay, do you play soccer? Yeah, I play. But the French have to continue the thought. They have to say, yes, I play it. Are you going to the party? Yes, I'm going there. Okay, so if you take something out, you have to replace it with an idea. You have to replace the idea with a pronoun. Okay, so tu vas à la fête? Are you going to the party? Now, if I just want to answer with, yeah, I'm going, you can't do that in French. You have to, if you're going to take out à la fête, okay, that's fine, but you have to account for that idea. And that is with I, you use I, and it has to go in front. Okay, so this could translate as I'm going there, or simply I'm going. Okay, are you going to the party? Yeah, I'm going. Okay, so I must be used in French, even if in English we don't translate it, because you have to account for the idea. D'accord? Ok, alors ça c'est beaucoup. Alors étudiez ça et nous allons pratiquer en classe. À la prochaine fois. Au revoir.